Hello, my name is Rachel Kennard, and today I'll be presenting case study number two, Controlling Urban Crime, the Move to Community Policing. A little bit about me is that my name is Rachel Kennard. Um, I would like to go into the legal field once I graduate from SPC with my bachelor's degree in public policy and administration. So this case study was a little bit right up my alley. I love crime, not doing it obviously, but like learning more about like criminal behavior, why someone would commit something, stuff like that. So you guys will find out more about why this involved the legal field pretty soon. My hobbies, I like to talk about political discussions. I'm not really affiliated with any political party. I just like knowing basic political procedures, stuff like that. And I love watching true crime on TV, like the body cams, the cop cams, basically any court cams. I love it. That's what my shows that I'm always pretty much watching. Another thing that I like to do just to break the ice a little bit, I like to talk about my dog, Boss. He's a pocket bully. He's right here. I rescue him from pit bull fighting. I just love to talk about animals because it gets you a way to really know about that person. People love to talk about their animals, which obviously I do too. So if you guys ever want to send your animal pictures, I love any animals. You guys can send them right here to any of my contact information. Um, or if you guys have any questions about this case study or any information that you guys may know that you want me to know about this, anytime you guys can reach me. I would really like to get to know you guys more one-on-one. So, like I said, reach me at any time here. So, basically, a summary of this case study. Basically, community policing is the philosophy that a group of police officers control the same area to get to know their communities better. But what is community policing in a sense? Community policing involves police officers to bond with their communities that they're patrolling. A few group of police officers will be assigned to one area to patrol that area, either day shift, mid shift, or night shifts. And they will really get to know those types of people in those areas to maybe bring down crime rates. Sometimes it could work, sometimes it cannot. However, we don't know until we try. So each community team will consist of police officers, one or more public health workers, and a complement of community action specialists, and family builders and social case workers. These are very vital to anybody, any community, especially a struggling community that struggles with crime and gang rates. Everyone is a family. No matter if you're a criminal or you belong to a gang, you're someone's son, you're someone's daughter, you're someone's mom, someone's father. Um, so they really need that resources to just know that someone's there to help. Someone especially trained in that stuff to help you talk through all your issues, to help you talk why you're struggling with drug abuse. There's drug resources available that those people can offer. There's programs for even kids like PAL. We have PAL here in St. Petersburg, Florida, that helps put kids after school instead of going back to like their crime areas, instead of like being involved in those in that area, and just basically what kids grow up around, that's all they know. So they all grow up around crime and nothing, like no resources are coming in to help them. They're not really getting outside help. That's all they're going to know. That's all they're going to grow up in, raising more criminals. So PAL is really there to help, and it helps police officers and kids get that one-on-one bonding time, because sometimes kids can grow up in areas where they may think police officers are always out to get them. Right. So we need to like build those relationships, those one-on-one relationships with kids and police officers. And they also get to be involved with sports, there's sports games. They can bond with other kids from their schools or even outside schools and create lifetime friendships. It can all start with PAL. Another type of police involvement that was introduced in the case study is crackdown policing. Crackdown policing is when a crime suspicion unit, some working undercover while others work in uniforms in a high crime slash gang area to watch for any criminal activity going on. This is the type of police involvement that wouldn't allow for that one-on-one bonding time as community policing, because they're just going in there and they're watching the criminals. They want some officers want to stay undercover. So why would they bond with with those areas to blow their cover? They don't want that. Um, This type of policing is highly useful because it does crack down on crimes, right? Um, just them going in basically like sometimes raiding houses that are gang and drug involved. We even have crackdown policing here in St. Petersburg, Florida, that we see sometimes in our areas that they may sit out and watch those areas for any criminal activity. It does kind of make it hard for criminals to continue doing their criminal behaviors because someone's always there patrolling the area. Um, they may want to stop due to the consequences, but sometimes they may want to move to other areas because that area is being watched, right? So the CSU unit will go around to every area that they may think any criminal activities going on, any high criminal activity. Um, so both of these community policing and crackdown policing both have their pros and cons, right? Sometimes community policing may work in an area that has a lot less softer people that may want to get to know their police officers and may want their community to really be beneficial towards this. However, crackdown policing isn't necessarily bad because it is slowing down crime rates, but the police officers aren't getting that one-on-one time with their areas. So another summary of this will be the police force must choose a way to approach their crime rates. Either way it goes, community policing or crackdown policing, it has to be done. They must choose a way to approach their crime rates. However, sometimes the officers don't agree with community policing. They may think, oh, this place is really high crime. We really need to crack down. So we're going to go in there. We're going to put that CSU unit in there, and we're just going to sit out and watch everyone and arrest everyone and do raids, all type of stuff. However, some don't agree with that. Some agree with community policing that we need that one-on-one time with our community just to get to really know them more. The next thing is what works best for the community and what helps build police and community relationships. Is crackdown policing going to help, or is community policing going to help? If you do crackdown policing, is it going to really benefit the community to trust the police officers more? We don't know until we try it. Is the community policing even going to be beneficial? Is the community actually going to participate? We don't know. So either way, we have to find out what really works best for our communities. Here's a little bit of an overview. The issue is that the police force needs to choose their policing style, either community policing or crackdown policing. My recommendations, which we will go over later, and some stakeholders, my main stakeholders that we will go over soon. Basically, the issue. The issue is that the police force needs to choose their policing style, either community policing or crackdown policing. However, we cannot have both. We could try both, but in a sense, we can't have one police patrolling one area where they're raiding and the CSU unit is coming in and they're arresting people and they're cracking down harder on one area versus another area that's having the community policing approach and that they're being more softer, they're getting to know their communities and people talk, right? So someone from one area might be like, oh, the police came in my area and they're just being really aggressive with us. Versus the other person in the other area saying, oh, wow, really, they're being really soft with us. They're talking to us, they're treating us like humans. We can't have that because then that's going to create more conflict. Another thing with the community policing that I read in the case study is that um, the police force is really struggling to have staffing and funding for community policing during the day shift because during the day shift people were having to go to court, trial, paperwork, and other office needs. So they were really struggling to have that patrolling areas with the police officers. Just with the staffing was a big issue. Moving on to our stakeholders. So our stakeholders are still a community. They're still people, right? So we still want to treat them with respect. We still want the police officers to be respected, right? So just the basic community innocence. So here are my stakeholders. So first we have Police Commissioner Grace Tarn. Commissioner Tarn introduced the idea of community policing. The community is on the line and Commissioner Tarn wants to make a softer approach. So Police Commissioner Tarn really introduced this idea of community policing. She is really forceful with this. She wants this. She wants to implement it right away. We want all police officers just to quit doing their police style they're doing now and roll over to community policing. However, she was getting a little pushback from the other officers in the group, in the community in the force, because they may not because they know from hands on that the community may not want that. They may not want that as a force. And then we have Hisner, he's the mayor. Mayor Hisner is stuck in the middle between both community policing and crackdown policing. He has his reputation as mayor to hold, so he must make the important decision. So this is the person who's going to make the decision, either crackdown policing or community policing. He was really on the fence with both. At first, he really liked community policing until his police force sat him down, really went over it. He was on the fence. And then when they talked about crackdown policing, he liked the idea but was still on the fence. So he had to make a decision, one that's really going to affect the community either negatively or positively. And then we have Police Chief Singh. Police Chief Singh introduced crackdown policing instead of community policing. Now, Police Chief Singh is the one who's really hands-on since he is the police chief. He knows exactly what's going on in these areas. He knows that this community may not even respond good to community policing. We need to crack down on them now. This is the type of stuff that they have been going back and forth, and as a team, they need to agree on. And then we have the people who are really going to be affected a majority by this, the city's Central Ward area. Members of this area who indulge in criminal behavior will be impacted directly either by community policing or crackdown policing. However, it's just not about people who indulge in criminal behaviors, right? Because I could be a neighbor to a criminal and they come here and do the crackdown policing. Well, now our streets being raided with police officers and we're being watched, right? Some people may not want to be watched all the time, even though they're not doing nothing criminally. And then community policing will benefit everyone in their area because then, even though you're not a criminal, you can still talk to police officers. You can still have those resources that you may need. Moving on, we have my expert. Get to know my expert. So this is Mr. Ernie Zimmerman. I work with him at my law office. He's a litigation paralegal at Pipus Law. He's been a paralegal for over 10 years and he has criminal law experience. So I felt that he was the most opinionated person on this that I knew that could actually benefit in this conversation because he's worked with police hands-on with his criminal experience. His responsibilities at our law office are keeping track of all the cases that go to trial. He keeps cases updated. He gets to know the clients and developing a one-on-one relationship with them. Developing a one-on-one relationship with your clients in like the law field is really important because they can bring in you more clientele and you just want to have that good rep. You want to have that family bonding time with your clients. Moving on. His expert opinion says running an entire police force can be very intimidating. Have patience with one another. This means that the police officers, whether they do crackdown policing or community policing, they all need to be on the same page. They all need to have patience with each other because it's all going to be a new experience for every single one of them and every person in that community. Keep the peace always. Having citizens who think they can run over police force will do anything in their power to be destructive. We want the police to know that they're in control of these criminals, right? We don't want criminals running rapid in our streets and in our communities. We want the people in our communities to feel safe. So the police need to stay ahead of the criminals, whether that's community policing, a softer approach, or crackdown policing, a more aggressive approach. Think about the future and the future relationships. Never act out of anger. We don't want to go in these communities and raid all their houses. We don't want to start we don't want to react with violence. We want the future community and the future police officers to know that, hey, this is a relationship that we can actually build. Yes, some people may go to prison, some people may have a longer sentence, but that's because of their actions. We're trying to protect you guys. And always keep the citizens' needs first. Yes, police officers are citizens as well, but not when they're on the job. They need to protect the community. They need to do whatever they feel like the community needs. My recommendation based on the facts. Think about the community first and what approach would be best. They like we know our community better than anyone else who knows our community. So they need to think about what are the pros and cons to these policing involvements. Think about how, as a community, what the future will look like after each approach. Are the crime rates going to go down, or are they just going to move to different areas? Is it going to be more aggressive with each other, or is it going to be like a softer? We're going to have more resources, so everyone's going to be a more healthy environment. Think about the community. Think about if this community will respond well to a softer approach or a more aggressive approach. These police officers know that if they respond with violence, are they going to get violence back? Or if they respond with niceness, are they going to get niceness back? And are the families in that community going to benefit positively from that approach? So, for example, if we do crackdown policing, are the families going to feel like they are safe in their communities with the crackdown policing? Sometimes relationships with police officers and communities can be very rocky. So we want the community to know that, hey, your cousin might go to jail, but you're still safe. You're still benefiting positively in this community. Just sometimes we need to get criminals off the street. To sum it up, a community needs leaders who puts their citizens first and that will lead by example instead of acting out of violence. The officers should help the members who are in the gangs or addicted to drugs with resources that will benefit them in the long run. The officers can take an aggressive approach, but to also remember that the community are also people. A quote that I'll leave you all with. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. Dr. MLK. So we want the police officers to know that we back them 100% if they still respect us. Either way, the police either police involvement is a great decision. We just each community is totally different. So we need to respond as if we know that community. Thank you guys so much for coming into my case study, and I appreciate you all for listening to me. Thank you guys so much. Bye.